If you want to understand why so many of us don't think it's good enough to just elect Democrats, look at the damage that they've done to my state, California. Things are not good here despite what you hear from elitist coastal Democrats. Whenever you hear Gavin Newsom talk about how good things are here, he sounds like Trump. He just wants to talk about how big our GDP is and how wealthy we are. Well, the vast majority of us aren't, far from it. The good, of course, is the people and the beauty. No doubt we're the most beautiful state in the country with the best weather. And we do have a better than average social safety net, but it's been pushed to the brink. Corporate interests have destroyed the character of the state. The state has simply gentrified its way to success. And it starts with Silicon Valley using the H-1B program to bring in a ton of high-income earners from overseas. And so the rich immigrant and non-immigrant nerds have taken over this state. It's turned our cities into bland corporate centers where everyone seems to be afraid of anything but beige and gray. Here in LA, it's driven vibrant Black and Latino communities to places like the Inland Empire and the high desert. And now Gavin Newsom's compliance with ICE has downtown looking like a ghost town. I just saw a restaurant on Olvera Street that was closing after 50 years. The most detrimental policies of corporate Dems that have hurt this state are in the area of housing. I'm with the housing industry in that we need more housing everywhere. But here's what actually happens, and I'm a former member of that industry, by the way. The state sets some ambitious goal to build more housing and tries to do things to speed up the process. We have the California Environmental Quality Act here, which was terribly written by Republicans, and so they try to find ways around it, which is great in my view. And then NIMBYs from coastal elite towns, both Democrats and Republicans, with the backing of certain misguided environmental interests, do everything in their power to stop it. And those that do build like high-end market rate and luxury housing with the bare minimum amount of affordable units, because they don't want those people in their town. And if anybody does build affordable housing, it's usually in places where there's already affordable housing. And it's usually just accompanied with more market rate housing that, again, gentrifies the community. Meanwhile, there are endless lines of people trying to find a place to live, living on the street, in cars, in motels. Go to any parking lot at night, and I promise you'll find at least 2 or 3 people living in their car. Don't actually do that, by the way. Leave them in peace. But you get the point. And it's corporate Democrats in this state that have done all of this. There's no one else to blame here. There is literally a supermajority. What we actually need is a moratorium on luxury housing, and we need to open the spigot on affordable housing and even market rate housing, because generally more market rate housing does overall lower the price. Public housing, nonprofit, and for-profit market rate. But you'll never see corporate Dems support any of this because they're either sold out to the housing industry or NIMBYs. And then you get to our tax structure. Contrary to popular belief, we are not a high-tax state, at least not for the rich. The rich do insanely well here. That's why there's so many of them. We have a great talent pool and the best universities that they can exploit. And the quality of life here is much better in many ways, so those people stay. Better for them, of course. They get access to publicly funded beaches, roads, and they get sweetheart deals from cities like San Jose and Irvine and the utility companies. And for pocket change for them, but meals on the table for most of us, they get to ride outside of traffic on our many toll roads, just flaunting their wealth. Our gas tax is insane, and gas taxes are naturally regressive, so I don't know why any Democrat would support it. And the same goes for our sales tax. And then thanks to straight corruption, we're doing things like paying billions to build high-speed rail that's may never actually be built, and yet we can't get water stability, that thing that's essential for life. Things are terrible here economically, just like they are everywhere else, and I'm tired of pretending otherwise. A state with Democrats that actually kept to the principles they say they have would have universal health care or CalCare, which is ready to go. They'd build a massive amount of affordable housing wherever they could find, especially in NIMBY coastal towns. And we'd probably get things like universal basic income to support all of our artists and musicians, the thing that gave us so much character in the 60s. And how would we pay for all that? Of course, we tax the rich, like the proposed billionaire tax that Newsom opposes. Do I fear the rich would leave? Not at all. That's just rephrasing of trickle-down economics, and we know that doesn't work. The idea that rich people help your economy is insane. If they leave, more market space opens up for our incredibly talented population to start new businesses. which we already do better than anyone in the country. Housing would be more affordable, and they would stop abusing our infrastructure. How many trucks can you put on the 710 without expanding it? Just imagine a state where Democrats actually built housing for people instead of enforcing anti-camping laws and tossing the belongings of unhoused people in the trash. Sadly, in our governor's race, it just seems to be more of the same. Betty E's pretty good, but she's not getting any traction. And Tom Steyer's a billionaire. You can't trust any of them. And you have Katie Porter's anger, and don't get me started on Eric Swalwell. We just have a bunch of politicians here that just want to hear their name at the next gala. So when this kind of thing changes and Democrat-run states are actually in good shape, then you can start saying vote blue no matter who.